Welcome to The Explainer. We all love sports, right? But today, we're going to look at why those games are so much more than just the final score. We're going to do a deep dive, a sociological breakdown, to see how sports are basically a perfect mirror of the world we live in. So let's start with something we've all felt, that feeling of pure joy when your team wins, or that absolute gut punch when they lose. It feels so personal, right? Well, sociologists say that powerful connection, that's our perfect way in. It's the key to understanding the huge role sports play in all of our lives. And really, this is the core idea of everything we're talking about today. This quote just nails it. The games we watch, they're like a tiny version of our world, where all our biggest hopes, our deepest conflicts, and our most important conversations are played out, right there on the field. All right, let's get into it. Here, we're going to lay the groundwork for why sports have such a massive cultural impact. We're talking way beyond just simple entertainment. Okay, so to really start seeing sports in this new way, we need a couple of key concepts. Think of this section as like our sociologist's toolkit. These are the ideas we'll use to break everything down. First up, the idea of a cultural institution. The main thing to get here is that sports aren't just random games people play. No, sociologists see them as these huge, organized systems. They've got formal rules, they've got powerful governing bodies, think FIFA or the Olympics, and they actually work a lot like our governments or economies. And this next tool, this explains why that loss feels so personal. It's called social identity theory. And the idea is pretty simple. A huge part of who you are comes from the groups you belong to. So when you pull on that team jersey, their identity, it becomes part of your identity. Their win is your win. It's that simple and that powerful. Okay, so we've got our tools, right? Now let's put them to work. We're going to look at 3 incredible real-world stories where sports and society crashed into each other and honestly changed the game forever. First up, Muhammad Ali. This is a man who was so much more than just a heavyweight champion. He was an athlete who, at the absolute peak of his fame, used his global platform to take this incredibly brave stand against war and racism. And just look at the fallout. This timeline shows you how immediate and how severe the consequences were. April 1967. He refuses to be drafted into the army. And boom, almost right away, he's stripped of his heavyweight title and banned from boxing. It took 3 years of legal battles just to get him back in the ring. And this quote, this just says it all, doesn't it? With that one sentence, Ali connected the fight for civil rights at home with a war happening thousands of miles away. He turned a personal decision into a massive global statement. The boxing ring suddenly became a stage for a much, much bigger fight. Okay, let's fast forward to something much more recent. Case study number 2, the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. This is where the single biggest sporting event on the planet put a massive spotlight on global issues of wealth, labor, and human rights. And get a load of this number, over $220 billion. That's what it's estimated Qatar spent on infrastructure for this one tournament. A number that big, it immediately kicks off a huge global debate. What's the real reason for spending that kind of money? And this is where you really see the two sides of the coin. On one hand, the goal was something people call sports washing, using this super popular event to shine up the country's image on the world stage. But what actually happened? The complete opposite. Hosting the World Cup brought this intense, unprecedented focus on things like migrant worker conditions, forcing a conversation that, let's be honest, probably wouldn't have happened otherwise. And for our last case study, we're looking at something different. Not just one athlete, but an entire professional league that came together as one, becoming this powerful, organized engine for social change. It's an amazing example of collective power. And the key here really was the unity. It wasn't just 1 or 2 players. The whole WNBA dedicated their 2020 season to social justice. They wore the names of victims on their uniforms. They postponed games in protest. They even painted Breonna Taylor's name right on the court. They literally turned their entire season into one long, powerful social movement. So, okay, we've got these 3 huge stories: Muhammad Ali, the Qatar World Cup, and the WNBA. Now let's zoom out a bit and connect the dots. Let's see how these individual examples plug right into the biggest themes running through our society. And this right here, this is the aha moment. This is where it all clicks. Think about the biggest issues in our society. Race, we see it clear as day in athlete activism. Politics and economics, the Qatar World Cup is a perfect example of how mega events are all about global power. And gender? Well, the WNBA's collective fight puts that front and center. Sports aren't separate from these issues. They're the stage where these issues get played out for the whole world to see.
All right, so after all that, what's the big takeaway? What's the final score, so to speak? Let's wrap this up with the stuff you should really remember from all this.
Okay, here are the three big things. Number one, sports are a microcosm of society. They reflect our values, our good parts, and our conflicts. Number two, athletes and leagues aren't just entertainers. They can be incredibly powerful influencers who can literally shape national conversations. And number three, if you really study sports, you get this amazing, unique lens for understanding the super complicated world we all live in. So, I want to leave you with this one final thought. The next time you're watching a game, any game, what will you really see? Because it's not just players and a scoreboard anymore, is it? It's identity, it's politics, it's culture. It's all right there. The only question is, are you going to see it?